They've gone from like super serious dad, where you're in the broadsheets and people will be going, I hate you, I love you, that's right, that's wrong. And like you say, you're being Ed Balls when you're interviewed. Ed Balls a politician, but it is you, it's you at work and what you think, and you're trying to get your ideals into like policies and stuff. So that is you. And then all of a sudden they see you in Strictly. How did they feel when they saw you being this sort of super serious politician person? Was it quite a stressful household, or, you know, because it feels like you're going off to be interviewed on the news and it's all, I'd be worried for my parents if they're going on to be questioned and, you know.
I think it's partly because, I mean, see, for them, this was all they knew. I mean, Yvette was the first ever government minister to have a baby while a minister. So all the rules about maternity leave and all of that, she just had to make up because, you know, the civil service said, you know, I'm afraid your employer is the Queen and I don't think we should ask her because, you know, we can't really get her involved. But there's nobody else who has the authority to tell you because you are just like a crowned minister.
How is she the first minister to have a baby? That's mad.
There's never ever been a minister. Nobody had ever had maternity leave. All the issues about how do you work out how to go away for a period and then come back again when you could then going to be responsible for all the things which happen in the intervening period because you always are. She had to work it all out themselves. But on the other hand, what it meant was, you know, I remember the children being really little and, you know, a 2-year-old saying, where's mum? And I'd say, there she is, just point at the TV. She's on breakfast TV. She said, oh, fine. She'll be home in a bit. And so they just knew that is what we did. You know, the mum went on TV. We travelled in this way. And I think obviously that changes as they get older and become more aware. But it was, on the one hand, we totally shielded them from it because we just made this decision from the beginning that other than the baby photo, they could never become part of our political story. So there's no election materials. You know, our oldest daughter put it incredibly powerfully when she went to secondary school. I just remember her saying this. She said, when I walk across the playground, I want to be me first, not the daughter of cabinet ministers. And we had a duty to find a way to allow her to be herself in that way. On the other hand, she'd always been part of it. So, you know, she knew the conversation at home when things went wrong. You know, often there would be TV cameras outside the house. You'd have to get arrangements to get them out to go to school without kind of...
So how does that work then? If you're the paparazzi are outside a politician's house because there's a big story breaking and you're going, right, I've got to get the kids to school. So does someone go out and say to them, look, the kids are coming out now, don't film this, and then Ed will or Yvette will come out in a minute?
Well, it's all about not having double standards. Because if we had ever posed as politicians with our children or put them on our election leaflets, then it's much harder then to be hardline about it. I think it's really difficult if you are, you know, the royal family or if you're the prime minister, because then there is a public expectation to see your family. But I think for everybody else, there's a real cost.
So if you'd become Chancellor, do you think you'd have had to show your family at that point?
I think we would not have done, because I think that's how we had done things all the way through. So we wouldn't have done the photos with us outside the house, and we wouldn't now. What that then means is, if you've got a big scandal happening or a big problem or whatever it is, and the cameras are outside, this happened lots and lots of times, you can have somebody go outside. Often we'd have to ring to get somebody to travel over from wherever they were to come into the house. Then they would then go out again and they'd say to the media, whoever was there, that the children are going to come out to go to school and can you not film that? And I would say 100% of the time, full cooperation.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
There's never been a photo of our kids.
Yeah.
There was one time where we had a huge problem. I think I can say this. Yvette's driver was arrested for child sex offences on his computer.
Oh, my God.
And so we find out about this. They get a phone call to Yvette's office, first of all, to say this had happened. And they wanted to talk to the children because had the children been in the car
of course,
with this guy when Yvette or I had not been in the car with them. So we had to kind of go through this whole kind of complex process, talking to them about it. And then 3 or 4 days later, we get a call from one of the papers to say, we have reason to believe that this has happened, that Yvette's driver, your children are involved. So I immediately ring Daily Mirror editor it was and say, just so you know, there's no public interest in this. The kids are not involved. They're only little, they're primary school. You've got to protect them. And they say, absolutely. And it was never written in any newspapers. But on the Saturday, 3 days later, again we get it. It was even worse the second time. It was actually the Mail on Sunday saying that that there were pictures of your children have been in, which was ridiculous.
No.
So we kick in this whole process. Lawyers talk to the Mail on Sunday, telling them what they can and can't do. big argument. The Mail on Sunday say there is a public interest. In the end, they wrote a story on page 10 about the driver and the car. They never mentioned the children or their names. They played by the rules. And the front page splash of the Mail on Sunday that Saturday night, Sunday morning was Charles Clarke, Ed Balls must be sacked. Where did that come from? I said to Yvette, how has that happened? And she said, I think you've just taken one for the kids. Basically, to get their revenge, they wrote the story straight on our kids and did me in instead, which was, in politics, that's kind of what happens.
Yeah.
But even in that one, which was our most difficult occasion, we managed to stop the children and their names and their photos being in the papers.
That's fascinating.
But you can't do that if you have, if in an easy time you pose the picture.
Yeah.
You can't in a difficult time then suddenly say their privacy, there's no public interest, because people say, well, that's what you've. We've always been very careful about that, and they also. Obviously, for that reason, their surname's Cooper.
Right.
There's no other reason. There's no other reason.
You don't need the balls following you around, do you?
Oh my God, can you imagine? No, that was the easiest decision of my life. I think we should go for a common surname, don't you? But I think we should. I think we should. Yeah.
When did you have that conversation then? Was it like before you had kids or when they arrived? Like, how did it come up?
Oh, well before there was even any prospect of kids, I think, to be very, very early on. I grew up in Norwich, where we had...
Oh, you're a big Norwich fan, aren't you?
Yeah, big Norwich. I had a page of the phone directory, whole page, balls. Thousands of them. Thousands. And they're thousands.
Really?
We were actually related to another family called Balls in the same village.
In Norwich? Never.
No. We were unrelated. What am I saying? I'm playing to the bloody...
6 fingers, 3 balls.
Oh, yeah, come on. There was another family called Balls. We were totally unrelated to them. It's totally unrelated. Yeah. We moved to Nottingham. We go from a whole page to 2 names. Disaster.
Yeah, I've never heard it before or since. So what is this Norfolk name of Balls?
Every 3 times you pick up the phone, there'll be somebody there going, Balls! Ah! Hung up.
Oh, because they've seen it in the phone book.
Well, how many times can you put up with that? There was one time, though, it was like semi-final of World Cup game. I'm going to guess 1986, probably. Oh, no, 82. And it was a semi-final, and there'd just been this terrible foul of the goalkeeper against the striker.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that? When you kind of sizes him out. The phone rings, I pick it up. Somebody says, is your name Balls? I said, God's sake, there's just been this foul. What are you doing? Get a life and watch it. I hung up. And I think from that moment on, I never felt so bad about it. Turning point.
But did Yvette ever discuss taking your name at marriage?
No. I mean, to be quite honest, if my name had been Smith, I don't think she'd have taken it.
Yeah.
But I mean, this was like out of the park, obvious.
You can't take the balls.
I mean, no, definitely not. No, never going to happen. I never would have proposed it either.
My favourite politician photos, Ed, are the sleeves that rolled up around a table. Look, jacket off, sleeves rolled up. Like, even though it's an air-conditioned office, the sleeves are rolled up just to show that they're cracking on. So when you are doing that, are you thinking, they must know what we're doing here? Surely.
Don't you think that in life you can tell the people who are posing and the people who are real?
Yeah.
So in politics, there's often the cameras in for the first 5 minutes and they go out. And you can tell the people who sort of roll their sleeves up and kind of try and do it for the cameras, but they always look a bit awkward and a bit weird.
Yeah.
Whereas I think the people who are...
Matt Hancock, basically.
Yeah. Whereas if you think the people who actually are relaxed to their own skin tend to look relaxed when they're being photographed as well.
Yes.
Go back to the Kennedys in the 60s. They were like the first people who had this that sort of informal style of photography around him, the family, the White House. And it looks really natural because I think it was.
Yeah.
Whereas Gordon Brown always...
He didn't like the...
I mean, he hated having his photograph taken.
Sunak looks like he's desperately trying to be a normal person. Like, how would a normal person stand? How would a normal family go on this?
Yeah.
Because obviously they live a mad life. It's difficult for them to try and pretend to be normal, I suppose.
It is hard. I mean, the other problem with photography and politics is that these days you can have so many options and you choose one. I played football in the every Monday at the Labour Party conference in the kind of MPs versus the journalists.
Oh, I've seen the photos of you playing football.
And you'd have 5 snappers behind the goal, and they would take like 5,000 photos. And what you know is, if it was Wayne Rooney playing, you know, at Man United, of the 5,000 pictures, they would think, what is the best photo, which would most capture his athletic excellence?
Oh, they've done you here.
Whereas if it's politicians, of the 5,000, which is the one which makes you look the biggest twat? And it was just every year, and you just have to sort of, you know, take it on the chin. I mean, you know, the warm-ups were always a nightmare.
You cut someone's eye, didn't you?
No,
you elbowed someone.
No, I did not actually.
In the head.
No. He threw himself at my elbow. Honestly, it was that way around. I was turning to shoot, and as I put my arm out to shoot, I didn't realise it had stitches until after half time. I mean, I felt bad about it in retrospect, but at the time, I just thought, why did he block my shot? It was totally undeliberate.
Ed, these photos, they have done you so dirty. There's not even one of you just stood still waiting for the ball. Every photo's like a mad action shot.
There must have been loads of them, but they all got cut.
You must have stood still once.
I know, but honestly, the athletic, brilliant ones, they never make the papers.
Yeah.
They're not the ones we sell.
No.
And it's just life.
Yeah, that is life, isn't it?
So for Rishi Sunak, it's hard because they're always, you know, actually, you know, of course the editors are always looking for the worst photo if it's politics.
Yeah.